KTSA News Time. They would never believe what gets talked about in here right before the show starts. KTSA News Time is 10:09. It is Gang of Four to kick off the weekend on the News and Talk of San Antonio, 550 KTSA. Good morning to you. Jack Riccardi with the gang assembled to talk about the big stories of the morning and the week. Let me introduce them to you. She is a public school. I feel like it feels like a game show at the beginning. She's a public school teacher who enjoys long walks on the beach and her yarn collection. Please welcome.
And has 12 cats.
Yeah, oh,
that's for the yarn collection.
Do you see yourself? Do you think you'll do that?
Oh, please no.
Yeah, I hope not. No, I'll intervene. Before that happens.
Maybe a standard poodle, but I'm not thinking 12 cats.
Cathey Meyer has also been an FBI agent and a realtor, though never, she assures us, at the same time. Welcome back to Gang of Four.
Thank you. Good morning, Aunt Jeannie and Uncle Bill. Aunt Jeannie just got a new pacemaker, so we're saying Saint Uncle Bill. Yeah. He's doing his due diligence.
And they're in the UC, right?
Yes, they are.
And what's new at school?
Great year this year. This is this is probably in the last 8 years. What's wrong?
It's a great year this year. It's been 3 days, but it's a hell of a year.
Last year wasn't so good, but this year, these are the kids you want when you're in the nursing home, lying on the bed, and they walk in. You're not going to tell them unplug me. You're going to let them take care of you.
Cool. All right, Cathey Meyer is here. The judge is here. Steve Hilbig from the Texas. Hilbig? Is that what I said? Man, we're still getting to know him. Steve Hilbig from the Texas State Fourth Court of Appeals and the former Bexar County District Attorney. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
What is new with you? Any travel? Any trips?
we had been up in Rocky Mountain National Park, did some hiking around a couple of weeks back, and yeah, it's just beautiful up there. You know, I never thought 60 degrees would be hot, but it really was. I mean, serious. We're up there about 11,000 feet, and you're hiking, and the sun kind of bakes you a little bit. And
yeah, I feel really.
Turned to Sylvia, and it's kind of like, hey, it's actually hot. You know.
And
we saw rain. I mean, you know, it rained about every third day, and coming back through Santa Fe, had gotten a rainstorm. It was so bad you couldn't even see the road, and so I kept trying to, you know, attach it to the bumper, bring it down here, but we never could do it.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Well, Steve Hilbig is with us. Thank you for coming
in. Thank you. Enjoy it.
When Taylor told me that Stephen Stoli was on Gang of Four, you know, Taylor assembles this gang every week. I have nothing to do with it. I just work here. But when he told me that Stephen Stoli was on Gang of Four, I have to be honest, Stephen. I said, really? He's still here? Because, and I don't mean that in a mortality sense. I mean that you've been talking for so long about this I'm going out on the road for the, you know, forever and ever.
It's December.
We just thought you'd already left.
No, I had to do a few things like sell the house, get some money, get rid of the furniture. And by the way, I did listen yesterday to your show when I heard Taylor. You asked Taylor who's on the Gang of Four, and he said he won't tell you, but it is the greatest Gang of Four ever assembled. And I'm assuming that's because I was here and Steve was here and Cathey was here. I just
he says that every week.
Or who canceled?
It really does. It's like graduating with honors from Harvard. Everybody graduates.
But I have sold my house. Everything's I'm spending this week with one set of grandkids, next week with another set. Pick up the RV, and I'm off to the Andy Devine Rodeo Days in Kingsman, Arizona.
And you also have a very exciting screen project going on.
That's part of the deal. With the actually. I've gotten 4 more scenes written. The Andy Devine thing is part of the movie script, and everywhere I look, there's Robert Duvall and there's John Wayne. So this whole thing, I'm getting these messages everywhere I turn. He just did a movie called 7 Days in Utopia, which I went and saw on Sunday. So yeah, it's good. I feel real free. I don't owe anybody anything, and wow.
That is wonderful.
I've been looking forward to this day.
We're in this.
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't have to worry about going to work and getting a job, but some people are worried about that. And last night the president gave his jobs speech, much awaited, much anticipated. I'm going to come back from my vacation with a plan, he said. And he got the joint session of Congress together. He squeezed in the speech before the NFL season opener. And like we were saying last hour, feels a little like that movie Groundhog Day. Haven't we heard this all before?
You know, I know that everybody's a pundit and they have their spin, and if you're a partisan politician, you're supposed to spin it a certain way. I think we can look at what the experts are telling us about what they thought of the speech, and that meaning the stock market. I mean, because that's where the people are going to be creating the jobs. They're going to put their capital to work and so forth. And what, the market's down close to 200 points today. I mean, again, it's like I want you to pass this bill, and y'all figure out how to pay for it. And if you don't, it's your fault. I'm sorry. What leadership is that? If you've got leadership and there's a problem, you bring a solution, and telling somebody else to figure out how to pay for it because he promised it would all be paid for, but telling somebody else how to figure out how to pay for it, and then if they don't, that they must be failures, I don't see how that's leadership.
We're asking our listeners today if this was this set of ideas is the best idea, the most widely supported, the most urgently needed, then why wasn't this Plan A? I mean, why wasn't this the first order of business in this administration?
Because Obamacare was the first order of business. He took his eye off the ball at the very beginning of this and focused it on that instead of trying to get the economy back going. But I did notice out there in your patio area, which used to be a really nice patio, you have a very expensive looking deck. I was wondering if that's part of Obama's job project.
Somebody got put to work.
It's shovel ready.
It's shovel ready.
The show is shovel ready. Cathey, what about this? I mean, how urgent can it be? Who was dawdling exactly if he's been president for over 900 days?
Sadly, I have to say I'm not impressed. It does concern me. I don't see how new jobs, as Steve said, will be generated from this plan. I don't know that anybody else knows the answer, though. The thing I'm tired of is that neither side of the aisle is willing to come together and say, let's take politics out of it and let's do what's best for America. And as a voter coming up, I don't know that there's anybody running for any office that I care to vote for. I don't see that anybody has a vision to help my country more than they have a vision to help themselves and their personal agendas.
Well, I was thinking about that this morning. I'm not necessarily sure that's true. I mean, I hear we have to compromise. You have to compromise. So somebody comes up and in essence says, I'm going to molest your child and your wife. And you go, heck no, we're not, I'm not going to let you do that. Okay, let's compromise. I'll just molest your child. I mean,
I think that's a poor analogy, my good man.
Because if you believe that spending so much is going to permanently encumber this country where we're going to have a hole we never dig out of, and in essence, as Jack said, he's heard it before, yeah, because we earlier had a stimulus program of what, 400 billion, and where are we at? Nowhere. And now we got 450.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Well, but you're saying that people aren't willing to come together, or they're not willing to get together. But how do you get together on a bad idea, I guess is what I was trying to say.
And granted, and I will be the first to say, the president has not, in this arena, done his job, I don't think. And I think that will be the downfall of him. And I remember 3 years ago, Jack said this is a one-term president, and that most likely will come true. But I also don't see anybody else stepping up to the plate and saying, here is a blueprint, or here is an example of what we could do. I mean, I'm not hearing anybody else come up with any better ideas.
Well, because I'm not sure jobs are created in Washington. Jobs are created across the country in middle America by people saying, I perceive that I can make an economic profit by putting someone to work. And that's what I'm going to do. I was out talking to some businessmen last night. And it is so interesting. Two things. One is they say, yes, I'm hesitant. One guy told me, he says, I've got plenty of jobs available for unskilled workers. Yes, they're minimum wage, but unskilled workers, minimum wage, he cannot fill them. And he has skilled jobs he cannot fill.
Well, and I also think that's a problem with the American public themselves, that there are too many people that think that job is beneath me, I'm waiting for the next job. Where I think if a lot of people that are out of work would just take the jobs that are available and work their way back up through the system, it's not fair, and it's not pleasant, and it's not easy to do. But just doing something is better than doing nothing.
And look at all the jobs you've had in the time I've known you.
Well, and I've always been gainfully employed, might I add.
Yeah.
And I've taken jobs that not necessarily...
But you inspire, I mean, it's inspiring to see somebody move around and take risks and try different things and live in different places. You've done that. If you can do it, why can't other people do it?
I wonder if this program's going to help the 40,000 people that Bank of America is going to let off here from this thing. Where are they going to go for
Steve, you make a great point, though, that we were talking about yesterday on the show. If you're a conservative, you are always cajoled. Get into this. What's your idea? But here's the problem: when your belief is that it is not through more government action and more government programs and more government redistribution of wealth, when your belief system is against all of those things, this isn't a discussion you can have. There can't be a conservative stimulus bill, Cathey, because they don't believe, we don't fundamentally believe.
I'm agreeing with you guys.
No, but what I'm saying is this idea of working together with a president who believes and a party that
no,
believes
that's not
that every good thing
then
has to come from.
I'm misled.
Okay,
you know,
I'm not attacking you. I'm just making the point. It is difficult when your belief system is the less the government gets involved in employment, the better it is for employment.
Well, and the other problem I have,
and
this isn't where, this isn't my area of expertise, but we are not a country, your caller was talking earlier that we are a fearful group, not a courageous group. And we haven't led the charge. Technology has totally changed how we do business in America. And jobs have left this country like never before. And I don't know that the forethinkers that plan ahead and lay the future tracking got together with the people that actually have the dollars and cents and do the hiring and said, look, in a traditional job where a corporation would normally have 500 employees, they're not going to have 250 because computers can cut that workforce in half. And of that 250, we're going to send half those jobs to India or Mexico or wherever they go, and you're going to have a quarter of the workforce doing the same amount of work you had before. Well, now you got 3/4 of that workforce where people thought they would have those jobs, and those jobs aren't available. Well, who retrained that group? That
speech that Hoffa gave made the news for the SOB line. But people should read the whole gist of his comments, or the whole content of his comments, because what he's saying and what these union leaders are saying is, we want these jobs back in America, damn it, we want them right now. But they're not acknowledging the fact that those jobs have gone to places where people have greater skills, a better education, and are doing the job for less. How can you beat that? You have to beat that. The American worker has to be a better value than those Indian workers in order for those jobs to come back. And when he is, they will come back.
And if you watch that ABC news series about Made in America and what in your home is made in America, and are you willing to spend the money for what is made in America? And nobody is. Nobody does. Everybody shops at Walmart. Nobody takes...
And I don't fault people for that. People have always bought the least expensive, most frugal things they could find.
But look ahead at how it costs jobs.
Yeah, but I think you've got it backwards. I think the truth is that first the American workforce has to be re-educated and retooled to live in this 21st century. We've got to reimagine the way we do education.
And who does that? There's the question.
Well, government is part of it. But we've got to be willing to let go of some sacred cows and reimagine the way we educate children, the way we train the workforce, the way we think of employment. It's not 50 years and a gold watch anymore. It's more like the way you've lived. It's probably a number of careers or different jobs.
But you're looking at a teacher that sits in a classroom, and even when I worked for the federal government, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on how far behind they are in technology and what's going on. But I look at these kids, and I look at the resources I have as an educator, and I look at the governor that took away the little bit of resources I did have, and I'm not educating 12-year-olds today at the level that I think they need to be exposed to function in the workplace tomorrow. And that's a tremendous concern for me. And so where do I go to get those resources?
Well, it was like Obama last night. Every child deserves the best school possible. Well, I'm sorry, they deserve the best education possible. The best education possible is not always the fanciest school.
I agree.
It's investing in quality teachers that, despite whatever shortcomings we may have, that they're able to impart to their students the quest for knowledge. Because I think that's the biggest tool you can give a kid.
It's the parenting. We're not getting kids ready, school ready. And so those kids have to
asked, where do I go for resources? And I think the answer is we take more resources out of the buildings and the glorification of politicians, and we put more resources directly in your hands. I would trust you to teach these kids at that age what they need to know. I don't think the quality of the building or the newness of the building is the definer of that, but to politicians it is. We're going to come back and talk some more about the president's job speech, many other things with Gang of Four, but first on a Friday morning, it's 10:24. Karen's in the KTSA 24-hour newsroom.
Oh, I thought it was Bang